What up, what up, what up, what up, guys? We're going live. Bill Gates, quotes for success, how to be a billionaire. We're going to talk about it all, keys to success. So I got to update the live stream website. You know how it is every time I do my streams. How to be like Bill Gates, guys. So let me just refresh my Mac, and I'm just gonna embed it on the stream so that you guys can always check out the blendlogic.com/livestream. That's my gift to you guys. And so we're gonna try something different for this one. We're actually going to be doing a screen share of DaVinci Resolve. So I'm doing that because sweet. There. And then I guess the last thing I'll do is I will post it on my channel. A screen share of DaVinci Resolve. So I'm doing that because what am I listening to right now? Sweet. I guess the last thing I'll do is I will post it. Where does that come from? Oh, my own stream on YouTube. That's funny. Okay, so that was some delay. Let me turn up the music. Gotta focus. So what I do every time I stream is first I let people join in, and then we edit the post. Let's see if we can't add tags or anything. Okay, boom. Let me save that. And then let me share this on my post. So I am live, share on my own wall. Try to get as much exposure as possible. We talking about Bill Gates and his takes on success, right? So that's what I do. I share my own timeline. This you can see here on my Facebook. So I will just leave that running so that I could hit the Facebook fans up. This is me getting the chat on there. Unfortunately on Restream you can't do it, so no big deal. And yeah, we going live now for Bill Gates. Let me actually tag Bill Gates here, dude. Let's see. Oh, what the Bill Gates quotes. Yeah, sure. All right, so let's get started, guys. So here is my own live stream. Let me close that down. Let me bring up DaVinci Resolve. So the last time I did a stream for you guys, I actually realized that I didn't know when the transitions were. And so I found a better way to do it is just to showcase to you guys DaVinci Resolve. And so this is the editor that I literally just did about a couple hours ago. And I'm going to add a marker because this is when we're starting. Boom, in the marker. So yeah, I want to get straight into the content. I think, how long I've been streaming, like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. That's enough time for people to join in. Okay, cool. So yeah, guys, Bill Gates, a man who needs no introduction, the co-founder of Microsoft, has built it up into be a billion-dollar company. He does not run it anymore. I think he's still chairman. But I took some quotes and I wanted to present it to you guys. So the first one's going to be on working hard, his take. Let me see if I have my full screen. Okay, cool. So was just checking that. So I'm probably just going to play it out for you guys and let you guys hear what he has to say. Let me know in the comments below. If you guys are joining live, I appreciate you guys. I always stress that the importance of taking action and engaging. Engage and take action. That's like probably the best advice you could take from any of my keys to success or any of the content you guys watch is just believing in yourself and taking action. So we're gonna get started with Bill Gates. This is DaVinci Resolve, a free video editor. That's how I make my content. So I just wanted to share this with you because someone out there is gonna watch this and say like,
I'm in media.
how did I do it? DaVinci Resolve is free. There's a lot of other YouTube videos out there where you guys can watch. So boom, let's do it. Bill Gates.
Meetings a lot. My calendar gets very full with those, and then at night, after the kids have gone to bed, I'm on email a great deal. I get messages during the day. That's my chance to give long responses. And then over the weekend, I send a lot of mail as well. I take 2 weeks a year to just go off and read and think, where I'm not interrupted by work or anything else. I'm just solidly trying to think about the future, and people get to send me things to read as part of that so-called Think Week. So it's a nice mix of things. About 25% of the time then I'm out traveling around, meeting with customers, Europe, Asia, and that sort of helps me think, okay, do we have the right priorities? What are people responding well to, and what would they like to see us do better?
Cool. So guys, you see here from the last one I did on Kobe Bryant, I was like, there was some transitions I didn't know when it was coming. So that one was keys to success on working hard. I got some messed up stuff here. Let me see if I can move this. Put it here. Yeah. So now we're going to be talking about working hard. So I had my takes on it. Let me know if you couldn't hear the audio. I hope it's coming through well. It's coming through on my headphones. But basically, one of the things I want to highlight is Bill Gates talks about he has a think week. So he takes 2 weeks out of the year to just execute and think, brainstorm of what he wants to be doing, or at least when he was running his business. And I think for many entrepreneurs first starting or trying to get this level of success, I think one of the biggest things that I think is a barrier to success is when you start hearing how other people did it, you question and say, oh, well, it's Bill Gates, so he is able to take 2 weeks off and do it, right? Instead of, I guess another reframe that you could have, it's something that I use myself, is there was a story on, I believe it was who's the horror fiction writer? It might have been R.L. Stine. It might have been the other guy who always makes those scary things. But basically, he was speaking on how to be a writer, and he said, "Look, I lock myself up. I write this time, and I just write my novels." And the people in the class, students were like, "Well, you know, that's easy for you to say because you've already made it. Like, that's what you do." And then he said, "Look, man, do you think I am R.L. Stine because I did that, or because I'm R.L. Stine, I'm able to do it?" And basically, it's the mentality of like the chicken and the egg, where you have to be able to get over these barriers that you are telling yourself that people are able to do things because of the quote unquote success or money that they're able to do that, and instead realize that they actually took the time to do it before they became famous or before they became successful. And that is why they are where they are today. I think I see a lot of times with a lot of like business owners, entrepreneurs I talk to, they're always like wondering, you know, how I'm able to just do some of the stuff I do with Blend Logic. And I will say that, you know, it's this keys to success. I took advice from Bill Gates. I took advice from videos like this that he talked about. The second thing I want to share with you guys is he talked about how he's in the very beginning of the clip. Let me see if I could just bring it back to you guys right here. He basically says, "Look, I'm busy. I have a calendar."
Meetings a lot. My calendar gets very full with those, and then at night, after the kids have gone to...
Okay, so I want to re-stress that because I've always told my clients, I always tell people working for me, dude, I'm just going to show you my calendar, and just, like, even my friends, they know this. I tell them straight up, guys, like, I live and die by the calendar, right? So this morning I had 7 a.m. core flow yoga. So that knocked out morning planning, meditation, keys to success. This is the time I spent making the content. And now in content generation, this is technically what I'm doing, is doing the live stream on it, right? And then I got a meeting with Matt, and then I got this content thing. So this one's free right here. This is where anyone, like in a meeting, technically, I have a schedule. People can schedule with me at blendlogic.com/schedule. So for those of you who are watching this in the future, that link will always be there. To do a strategy session with me, it's $250 an hour. But basically, it's like, dude, this is it, right? even the only person who has like access to my calendar is my girlfriend. It's the Bay calendar, right? So we share that calendar, and if she wants to do something, like she will. I mean, technically, it's synced to my calendar, so that is all stuff. That's how I like know what we're gonna be doing. But yeah, that's another thing I wanted to stress out to you guys. This is stuff you could be doing, like not just for business, but like for your relationships, for your family. It's like once you start getting to this point where you're like, okay, what, like how far am I going to take it to help people or to build a business? This is stuff you got to start thinking about. And another person who talked about this is actually Damon Johns, or I think that's his name, who wrote the book Rise and Grind. He's the Shark Tank, the guy on Shark Tank. And he basically talks about the same thing. So I want to keep it focused on Bill Gates. I'll do one on him. But for the most part, you can see here how I'm just able to weave and connect different concepts of success and be like, okay, so many people have said it. That is why I got to do it too. Okay, so I think that's all I got to say on work hard. We're going to do the next one is create the future. Okay, guys, so give me a second to set up studio mode on my calendar or on my stream, and let's get right into it.
Hello, I'm Bill Gates, Chairman of Microsoft. In this video, you're going to see the future, Windows. Microsoft first came up with the Windows concept back in 1983. And today, the leading software users have switched into the Windows environment. It's really incredible how quickly our powerful applications like Word and Excel and PowerPoint have been adopted. It's not just Microsoft applications. Even companies like WordPerfect and Lotus have now come out with Windows applications. And every week we see new innovative work. It's really attracting all the innovation in the industry. We predicted this a long time ago, and now it's the future. Let's take a look.
All right, guys, so that was... Whoa, I thought I changed it. Create the future. Oh, it's actually 2. Boom, I did change it. My bad, guys. So transition again. Boom. Look how slick that is. All right, guys, so there's several things I want you guys taking from Create the Future. Let me see if I could get this swapped so you guys can see what I was talking about. Basically, like, look at this intro, guys. Software learning video, Microsoft 3.1. I want to actually bring up the YouTube video that this is shared on so that you guys can I wanted to show the mentality that I think some people have. So I pulled this from this YouTube video. This has almost 2 million views from this random dude who uploaded it. 60-second intro to a cheesy 3-hour video tutorial tape, right? So I promise you guys, when you are doing your thing, people will always question you. Like this guy, even though he's made quote unquote like a lot of views from maybe this one video, like I'm not sure why he even said it's cheesy, right? This is a dude, Bill Gates, who basically had a vision on what he wanted his life to be, what he wanted his business to be. And one of the things I want you taking out from it is like, regardless if you guys think that's cheesy or not, understand that he understood the importance of video, right? So now when I go to my clients and like, I'll be like, dude, watch my, like it's meta saying this because I'm doing a live stream. Any future clients will be like, dude, watch my Bill Gates keys to success. Look at number 2, create the future, right? If he's able to make this video with you know, look at this. Just look at this. Like this background, which is probably edited in post. He has his big glasses. Like you have to be able to be the founder, spokesperson of your business, especially when you believe in it. Okay, so what I want you guys taking out of this is like, dude, regardless of the YouTuber who said it's a cheesy intro and he did a 3-hour video on it, there's so much value to making stuff like this, to me making this video as well, that you guys need to like create distance from the people who think it's lame, and just do you, man. Just do you, right? If you think video is cool in the future, this video has 1 million views, right? 1 million views. And this is when it even came out on VHS, right? So who even uses that anymore? right? So you have to understand the value of making an asset of video that can scale infinitely. Instead of him talking to everyone who installed Windows, the way that he did it back in, I don't know when what's it called? Windows 3.1 came out. But he was like, look, I gotta not only deliver Windows, I gotta give them this video. And then the second thing is like, have belief in yourself and the confidence that you could do. You know, he believed in Windows, he believed in his future. So that is the second keys to success is create your own future, guys. You are in control of your own destiny. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. All right, so the second one is going to be on, my girlfriend just popped in. Enjoy what you do. So I don't know if you guys know who this is. This is Warren Buffett and Bill Gates. And there's going to be things, I'll play the video, but I want you really paying attention to some of the stuff that they talk about here.
The key point there is you've got to enjoy what you do every day. And for me, that's working with very smart people. It's working on new problems. You know, every time we think, hey, we've had a little bit of success, we're pretty careful not to dwell on it too much because the bar gets raised. Well, it's great to see you.
Holy crap, that was so fast. I wasn't paying attention, I was changing the thing. Okay, so that was like a really short one. Let me transition back onto me. So number 3, enjoy what you do. So that very short clip. You also have to understand that, let me show the media pool. So where did that come from? Right? That was a clip like this small. Let me transition, right? So in Resolve, right? This whole video with Warren Buffett speaking, dude, this is like an hour long, right? So I encourage you guys, don't just take what I'm picking out from this hour-long video, but go in and, like, the answers are there. The video is called Buffett and Gates on Success, right? Buffett and Gates on Success. So that's something that one of the, I guess, meta things that you take away from that is that, dude, people are always leaving clues to success, and I feel like I need to do it in terms of what you guys are watching here on this live stream. The second thing I want to show is, yeah, just on enjoying what you do. So I've met so many people who kind of get into their flow in life, and they have things where it's like, let me just work for the weekend, and let me just, you know, it's a means to an end, okay? And so I think when you start incorporating stuff of what Bill Gates says, and there's plenty of other people, I leave it for my team. I have so many videos that I'm just like, dude, guys, when you first join BlendLogic, like, watch these videos. Like Matthew McConaughey talks about how it's not about being happy, right? It's about finding joy. Because when you're happy, like your body, your brain will always try to like seek more, and you're always seeking, right? But when you find joy, it's you do things regardless of the outcome because you just enjoy it. Because in my opinion, from what I know now, I think it's about getting in flow state, and flow state is where you are met with challenges, and they push you right at the right amount of challenges, so that you're able to, I guess, what you ultimately want to be aiming for is losing track of time. So this, like, even like when I do these live streams, right? It's like, there was always this concept I heard of, like, when you find what you're supposed to do, it never feels like you're working a day in your life. Like, when I would first hear that, I'd be like, dude, what the fuck are these guys talking about? And it's like, you don't understand. Like, I got bills to pay. And then now it's just like, I've been through so much self-improvement and working on my mindset that it's like, okay, I think I kind of understand what they're talking about. But you also have to understand that I'm kind of new to this game, right? I've been doing this as a side hustle and now as a full-time business. And so, you know, one day I hope to keep on this path of execution. So that is my take on enjoy what you do. And then I had a note here taken that I guess I'll share with you guys as well. Is like, for me in BlendLogic, there's always, like, the way I challenge myself is there was a thing by Jim Carrey, and he was talking about how basically this poem or this thing, Ralph Emerson, and it's called Compensation. And I want you guys to read this. I'll leave a link below, but this was written in 1841. Okay, so when I start like realizing, right, these issues such as like you think you need to get paid or what trying to get what you feel like you're worth, right? These are problems that have existed in 1841. And these are the problems that I want to tackle now. Like not just digital marketing, right? Like that is a tool, that is a vehicle that I use. But ultimately, like the main things that I'm trying to do is help people reach self-actualization. So like when I work with, you know, the personal brands or for the most part, entrepreneurs and businesses, right? One angle that I help them, you know, realize self-actualization is by helping them accomplish their dreams. And for me, I positioned myself because for like, in my opinion, the only way to right now with the opportunity of digital marketing is the way to do it, right? So read that thing on Emerson. He talks about like his thoughts on expectancy. Again, I want to focus on just Bill Gates, so I'll just leave comments for you to see it in below. Okay, so we're gonna be talking now about the next one, number 4. So if you guys are joining live, I got some people joining. I encourage you to engage with the group, #live. We're gonna be talking about Bill Gates, just dropping value. So Matt Frank just joined. What's up, bro? #Bill Gates, Lego. So I posted on Facebook, and yeah, we're gonna be talking about his next one. Let's hit it.
Well, it's great to see so many young people playing bridge. I love bridge. Bridge helps you think. It's a game you can play your entire life and keep getting better and better. I think anybody who's good at bridge is going to be great at a lot of things. So I really encourage people to get involved, and I want to thank the people who've put things together for juniors. They'll be thanking you the rest of their life because bridge is such a great sport.
All right, guys, so I don't actually play bridge. I have no idea how it's played. But number 4, play bridge. What I want you guys taking away from that is that, one, it's this idea that you could get better and better, right? So go back, or when you guys are done watching this, like, go back and really listen to what Bill Gates said. Or I even post the sources. They're going to be linked below. But basically, he says, like, dude, bridge is a game where you could always improve and it could go long term, right? And so what I take from that when I watch it particularly is I'm like, okay, so Bill Gates has this mindset that there's always room for improvement. And he has found something that actually like helps him execute on that. And for me, it's basketball, right? There's always things I can improve: passing, court vision, dribbling, shooting. So in his particular thing, right, it's like that. I resonate with that craft of trying to have self-improvement and always setting the bar higher. Okay, so that is one thing that hopefully by me kind of just sharing my thoughts, you could kind of see the mindset that I have. So if anyone watching this in the future is like, dude, why did that dude, that Asian dude wearing a Nike backwards hat, headphones, is like, why did he build that business and why did he leave his corporate job? It's because I had these thought patterns, and that's basically it. I've watched these videos before, and I make this clip so that you guys can at least like digest it easier. So Steven joined on Facebook. What's up, man? I'm doing a live stream on my series Keys to Success. So I got one on Bill Gates. I'm talking about, I went over these last 4, and we're going to keep going. So let's hit it. The next one is another one with him and Warren Buffett.
Started Microsoft. I didn't think of it as all that risky. I mean, I was so excited about what we were doing. It's true I could have gone bankrupt, but you know, I had a set of skills that were highly employable, and in fact, my parents were still willing to let me go back to Harvard and finish my education if I wanted to.
You've always got a job with me, Bill.
And the thing that was scary to me wasn't quitting and starting the company. It was when I started hiring my friends and they expected to be paid. And then we had customers who went bankrupt, customers that I'd counted on to come through. And so then I got this incredibly conservative approach that I wanted to have enough money in the bank to pay a year's worth of payroll, even if we didn't get any payments coming in. And I'm almost true to that the whole time. We got about 10 billion now, which is pretty much enough for the next year. Anyway, you know, if you're going to start a company, it takes so much energy that, you know, it better overcome your feeling of risk. I don't think that you necessarily, if you're going to start a company, should do it at the start of your career. I think there's a lot to be said for working for a company, learning how they do things. You know, if you're young, it's hard to go lease premises. They made that hard for me. You couldn't rent a car when you were under 25 at the time, so I was always taking taxis to go see customers. And the people would, you know, people say, well, we're going to go have a discussion in the bar. Well, I couldn't go to the bar. But you know, that's fun, because I'll tell you, when people are first skeptical and they think, oh, this kid doesn't know anything, then when you show them you've really got a good product, you know something, they actually tend to go overboard and they think, whoa, you know, they know a lot. Let's really do an incredible amount with these people. So our youth, at least in this country, was a huge asset for us once we reached a certain threshold. It is hard. It's hard to hire older people because they'll be a little bit conservative about whether they should come and take the risk. And it took 3 or 4 years before we could go out into the normal sort of employment pool. But those problems that come with starting a firm, you better think of those as part of the pleasure, part of the challenge that is part of the excitement.
Let go. Have energy, guys. So this is a big one. I think that a lot of people, if they've seen my content, they see me stream, they're like, how do I go for hours? One thing I want to say is, like, once you guys start having that mentality that, look, I'm here to, like, I only have a certain amount of time in life, and so I might as well bring the energy. There's things that you control, right? Whether or not good or bad things happen to you, you could pull an alchemist from that book and be like, okay, I'm going to take whatever energy is given to me, bad or good, I'm gonna give positive energy, right? So I'm gonna take it and reconvert it into the camera, boom, right into you, give you that energy, make you hype, right? So that's stuff that I work on and that mentality I have. And so some of the notes I took on in terms of having energy that Bill Gates talks about is, in the beginning, he talks about how it's always taking risks. So I actually, for those of you who don't know my story, it is 12/13/2018. I left my full-time consulting gig back in February. Before that, I was doing Blend Logic on the side, and I actually just had this conversation with Albert the other day, or like literally yesterday in the car. I was just like, dude, sometimes I say shit on my streams. I'm like, damn, like, it's risky, right? Like, I'm not sure if people will employ me after saying this stuff. But I mean, I'll be as honest as possible, guys. I have not seen this particular clip that Bill Gates talked about, like this one, right? And so you have to understand that the reason I do this stuff is because when I would first, like, I've seen stuff like this, but when I would first watch it, I would be like, oh, that's inspiring, right? But then now I'm watching it, I'm like, damn, this is like actually good fucking advice, right? So he talks about how, you know, there will always be risk. There are no guarantees where things will happen, but if you believe in the cause and the mission in life, like, it will pull you towards reaching those things. And you have, as an entrepreneur, or, you know, that's a popular term going on right now, but I'm saying, like, eventually in your life, you're going to have to stand up for something and what you believe in, and you're going to have to just do it, right? And whether or not people say it's a good idea or not, like, the thing is, you have to understand that they don't know what you've been through. At the end of the day, you watching this are the only person who knows the work you've been putting in, right? So I cannot tell people, like, hey, I mean, obviously, yes, in the video I could tell them, but it's always better to see firsthand, right? So, like, if I tell you, like, hey, I plan my day in the morning, or hey, I write in a journal every night, or hey, I like XYZ, right? Like, no one's gonna know that when they first see this. Someone first watching this right now will not know that, and until they could seek to understand, then a lot of times some of this advice will not be taken. And so you're going to have to understand that with your business and whatever you guys get into, that it will always be scary in the beginning. Okay, and then the second thing that I think is interesting is I have, like, interns now, I have teams, and even my brother, I was actually talking to my roommate about this with Brian. it's like I always have the mentality. It's like, dude, it's not about the money. I'm doing this for I think the greater good, right? I just showed you guys the essay by Emerson written in 1841. Like, why is it still a problem that people think they need to be compensated and then they don't go get it, right? Why is that still a problem? Even in 1841, it's been what, 200 years, and people still have this mentality that like, oh, I'm not getting paid enough, and then that's it. Like, they don't take action towards getting paid more, right? And so for me, it's like, this is just a vehicle for me to, in my opinion, like, show a different way, right? Like, I left my job because some of the people in there were like, talking about how bad some of their stuff was. And I was just like, dude, like, have perspective, right? You, like, as a consultant, we got to travel the country. Like, like, you're giving things up, but still at the same point, like, don't complain, right, that you're not getting paid enough. Like, just be better, right? And so some of that stuff I couldn't say to them, right? They'd be like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, don't tell me that I need to be better. But now when I run my business, like, dude, this is my thing, right? So I can say what I want to say. So that's one of the perks that you might get from building your own business. And especially, like, Bill Gates talked about it, like, the expectancy. They expect to get paid. That's something that, like, look, my brother, I love him. He's my blood. But also at the same time, it's like, I realize I have the mentality that I'm going to go in it to win it, right? Like, regardless of what it takes, right? Regardless, I've told you guys I worked for Jordan for a year free. There's so many things that I don't get paid on. But as a business owner, I think a lot of times people are like, oh, well, of course you're working on it because you're invested, you got stock or whatever, right? I promise you this, guys. It's like once you start realizing that it's not about expecting to get, I think the biggest problem in society or what I meet when I interact with people, and I'm not saying it's a problem, I see it, right? Is disregard I said it's a problem, just my insights is that people think that just because you're spending time on it means that you should get paid for it. You should only get paid if it's valuable, right? So once you start going from this asset-based mindset, it doesn't matter how long it takes you, right? So if I could make a website, it used to take me like a couple weeks, right? I can make a website now in 2 hours, right? That is value add. I wasn't complaining that it took me 2 weeks, 2 months to learn website design, to learn good website design. And when I finally started getting better, now I can make a decent one that gets me paid in 2 hours, right? And so that is how wealth and business is built, is because once you start selling stuff based on asset-based things instead of time-based, like, I don't charge my clients, except for that hour consultation, I charge them based on work done. Right? So regardless if it takes me a month or an hour to do, that is what I believe you should be aiming for, is get paid based on value instead of get paid based on time. Okay, so let's keep going. Where are we now? Have energy. I already did that one. Boom. Let's switch to Cam. Get some Bill Gates in there, because, like, don't listen to me, guys. Listen to Bill Gates, all right? Watch all these things. I'm going to leave a link below so you guys can watch all of these things. But I warn you, like, a lot of these videos are like an hour long. But if you guys want it, you'll watch it. That's it's as simple as that. If you guys really want it, you'll watch these videos.
I want to thank Harvard for this honor. I'll be changing my job next year, and it will be nice to finally have a college degree on my resume. I applaud the graduates for taking a much more direct route to your degrees. For my part, I'm just happy that the Crimson called me Harvard's most successful dropout. I guess that makes me valedictorian of my own special class. I did the best of everyone who failed. But I also want to be recognized as the guy who...
Whoa, getting some lag. Let me see if I can fix it.
Got Steve Ballmer to drop out of business school. I'm a bad influence. That's why I was invited to speak at your graduation. If I'd spoken at your orientation, fewer of you might be here today.
All right, so if you guys don't know, Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard. I thought there were some interesting things to take from that. One is that when I heard that talk this morning, I thought, that's similar to what Steve Jobs did with the guy who worked for Coke. And Steve Jobs basically said, look, do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life, or do you want to change the world? All right, so I don't know what he said to Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer is the guy who owns the LA Clippers now. But whatever he did, he convinced them to be about the cause, right? So I think some insight I'll share with you is my co-founder, Jim Schwebel, who runs Neurolex AI. They do machine learning on voice. He basically was talking about how, we were having discussions on how his business is going. And he was telling me that basically, regardless of the VC money that he's raised, he has found ways to run his business and get people who are motivated by the cause instead of motivated by the compensation. So yes, as a business owner, you should always have the payroll, like what Bill Gates said, have a year worth of payroll. That's something I'm working on and building the business. But you have to understand, this drive is what is pushing people. It will push you to make content. It will push you to get over your fears of going live. It will push you to push websites out, to become a better writer, to become just in general a better person. And I think a lot of times people don't like the pressure because what mainstream society says is just be chill. Don't be I'm not even saying it's stress. It's just pressure. And then if you watch the last week's video on Kobe Bryant, he talks about how pressure is an opportunity for you to rise. Right, so reframe your brain and start seeing it that way. That's something that I took, in my opinion, I think it's kind of cool how, I guess maybe you guys watch that content and be like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. So hopefully that's my aim in sharing and making this stuff with you, is be like, that's an interesting take. And for those of you watching live, please leave comments and be like, this is what I took out of it. Because I'm not saying I'm not the right, I'm not saying I'm the right way of thinking. I'm not the only person who, even this next one I'm going to talk about, which is ask advice. I have some things there. But basically it's look, if you guys are trying to start your own thing, right? Even one of my second, first, third clients, Anthony, talked about how, I remember one of the calls I had with him, we had teams from LA, we had Standout Arts, Shannon from Virginia. And he said on the call, he's like, guys, I can start feeling it now. I know some of you may be motivated by the monetary incentive that I'm giving you, but I'm starting to feel that you guys are starting to get on board with the mission that I'm doing. So if those of you who don't know, one of my clients, Anthony, actually, he just reached out to me. I'm really happy for him. He got a book. I don't know if I could say, I haven't asked him if I could say it, but basically he's doing big things, right? And yeah, you can check him out, one of the clients for Blend Logic. So let's keep going on. Oops, wrong one. Let's see what the next one is. Ask for advice.
I talked to my dad. I talked to Warren. I talked to my wife, Melinda. So I have enough people that know me.
Yo, let me see if I can get this playback better, dude. Proxy mode, half resolution? Is this going to fix it?
Actually know where my judgment isn't its strongest, where I might get overexcited about something or, forget. My judgment isn't its strongest, where I might get overexcited about something or, forget to think about something. And so they're good at correcting, particularly Melinda, good at correcting whatever those blind spots are. And I think it's good to encourage your friends and advisors to really give them that license. I can go to a party and forget to say hello to various people or something. That's a very minor example of my blind spots.
Not to the hostess.
Well, Melinda would help me do that.
Yeah, she would, yeah.
So, a small number of people that you can turn to on certain key things is a great asset.
All right, guys, so remember what I just said about having assets. So one of the biggest things that could help you guys in, reaching your goals is asking for advice or asking people what they think. And I think this is like a double-edged sword, because a lot of times you'll ask for advice and sometimes people don't get what you're trying to do, so that they'll only speak on what they know. And in terms of what I mean by that is, sometimes people will encourage you not to do things, right? And then you have to really be able to think critically and say, like, why are they giving me that advice not to do it, right? And so I think one of the things that I have found in a tragedy in life is, like, some of the people I've met who are trying to do big things or help a lot of people, they stop trying to help people. Like, I guess one of the biggest things that maybe you'll able to resonate with or relate to is, like, if there's ever been someone in your life who maybe things aren't going the right way and you're trying to give them advice and you're like, hey, you should do this, you should do that. And they always do that. Like, they don't do it, or they do the opposite. And then, like, later on, like years later, you'll find out and be like, damn, like, I wish I was able to help that guy better or help that girl better, or whatever it is. Right. You know, now in life, like, I'm 28, I started meeting people and they're like, dude, like, I don't even give advice anymore. Like, they just stop trying. They just stop trying because I guess one of the last persons I talked to was just like, look, like, it's pointless, right? And so if I resonated with that, right, you would not be seeing me live streaming right now. You would not see it. If I resonated with, like, if I just gave up on believing in what the human potential is, then this would not be happening right now. But I think there's other people who, luckily, I've been able to come in contact with, who have just been like, dude, keep going on. Like, don't give up on humans. Don't give up on people. Don't give up on potential. And it's very hard to sell that. Like, my last job, the sales, like, one of the top sales guy who became a managing partner in the consulting firm was basically telling me, like, dude, Alan, basically the old consulting I did, we used to do BI, business intelligence, versus we got acquired and they started doing audits. And he told me, he was like, hey, it's hard to sell based on hope. But if you could, it's very easy to sell based on fear, because one of the last things, or what their business model was like, look, if you don't do this shit, you get fined, right? Millions of dollars, right? And it was like tax stuff and shit like that, right? And so that was one thing that I respected, was like, you know, do the right thing, right? Like, I could have these angles. I've talked about this before in my streams. Like, I could do the angles of being like, hey, your life's gonna suck if you don't do this shit. But I don't. I want to hit you with an angle of, like, look, if you want to do certain things, like, there's always another way. If you're watching this and feeling hopeless, or like the cards are stacked against you, I've went through my own struggle. I'm not sure what yours is. This is just a video, but feel free to reach out to me. Like, I'm always willing to help and really understand your story, so that, you know, you could, you know, take it to the next level. That's honestly what I want from everyone watching this. Regardless or not if it's digital marketing. I mean, I tell you, like, that's just a tool, a vehicle that I'm using right now. And then second, I don't know if you guys are gamers. I guess the last takeaway I'll say is I play video games. This is a streaming computer. There's a very popular thing now with, like, AMD versus Intel, where AMD has this thing called Threadripper. It's a 16 core or 32 core processor. Basically, their marketing angle is like, look, we got more cores than Intel. All right, so we're going to beat the shit out of them. But basically, like, if you understand that market or what they're doing, it's basically like, dude, if you guys don't understand computers at all, basically there's, like, processors or CPU units. And in general, the mass consensus will tell you the more cores you have, the faster you could do things. All right, so stop relying on this one core, right? I'm only one core, one CPU. And I look at this stuff and, like, there's Warren Buffett, there's Bill Gates, that's another core. And how many CPUs can I install in my system to operate better, to take it to the next level? Right, so that's my mindset, and I can only relate to you because I play video games. I like having fast systems, so I think it plays out into itself of, you know, what I'm trying to execute in life right now. So let's get back into Bill Gates, what he's got to say for the next thing. Just ask for advice. Oh, here you go. Pick good people. Let's get it.
My best business decisions really have to do with picking people. You know, deciding to go into partnership with Paul Allen is probably at the top of the list. And then subsequently, hiring a friend, Steve Ballmer. And having somebody who you totally trust, who's totally committed, who shares your vision and yet has a little bit different set of skills. and also acts as a check on you. You know, some of the ideas you come up with, you run by them because you know they're going to say, hey, wait a minute, you know, have you thought about this and that? And just, you know, the benefit of sparking off of somebody who's got that kind of brilliance, it's not only made it fun, but it's really led to a lot of success. So picking a partner is crucial.
Yeah. And
Boom. So that was number 7. No, that was number 8. Pick good people. So let me transition here. I didn't change my text. I'm trying to make it so it doesn't lag for you guys, but I do understand that DaVinci Resolve is a graphics intensive computer or process. So 8 was pick good people. Okay, so my takes on that is like, look, no business was founded on just one man alone. Everyone had partners. Everyone had mentors. If you watch the Steve Gates, if you watch Steve Jobs, right, he even talks about it, right? He had his people, Wozniak, all the people he built around. And I think that whatever you guys are trying to do, right, I always stress to you guys, like, people will try to bring you down. It is inevitable, right? Whatever business you're trying to build, they're going to come at you, because I talked about it yesterday in my stream, right? It's too painful to realize that they could have done it too. And so what's easier is, instead of being challenged and say, hey, let me do more work and do more stuff, they'll be like, fuck that guy. That guy did something. Like, dude, people hate on Steve Jobs. They're like, he didn't actually do anything. It was all Wozniak, right? Like I'm not saying like go into the negativity. Just be able to think critically and analyze for yourself and be like, did Steve Jobs actually not do anything or not? Or like, you know, use some brain power and think for yourselves, right? And even this stuff I'm saying, please do not use me as like the end all be all of how you need to think. Just be like, okay, here's another CPU, right? Or maybe I'm a GPU, right? Maybe I'm a graphics processor, right? Like, you decide for yourself how you guys want to use this advice. And then also, like, dude, I leave the whole videos in the bottom. I highly recommend. It's probably will be like 4 hours of your time to watch all the, like, this stuff doesn't even talk about what Warren Buffett said, and that shit's fucking good. Right? So in terms of picking good people, I guess it's kind of tough when you're running a business. I want to showcase to you this video. I think it's in like 22 minutes. Well, it's I should have marked down the time. Basically, in the video, that whole video, he talks about how he's able to speak with Warren Buffett, right? And so one of the things that he did was that it's number 4. It opened up a bridge. Or that's funny, that the play on words. But basically, Warren Buffett plays bridge too. I don't know if Bill Gates knew that and then like targeted Warren Buffett, but basically they shared their passion for bridge. Right? And so now, like, if you think about what I'm doing, it's like, dude, like, I like basketball, I like fitness, I like self-improvement. So I'm just going to tell people that. And the people I get to work with are the people I get to work with, right? So I think that's one thing that you guys should consider, because I hear it a lot. People don't want to niche down. They don't want to focus on one thing. Just do the things that you have high vertical in, high passion for, and then you'll meet the right people. And then also be critical of when you're, like, you know, building your team. Like, pick the right people who share the vision, who share, like, the understanding of what you're trying to accomplish, because they'll be more motivated instead of by like money, right? Like, I guess I'll just be as transparent as possible. One of the things that you'll start picking up is, like, when I paid my brother, right? He basically had this mindset that was like, okay, so I got X amount of money. I paid him $1,000 for one of the last gigs we got. And he was like, so it's actually in my best interest to not work as much as possible, because I need to stretch this money out, right? So I mean, I'm not going to say this or that. I'm just, in my opinion, that mentality is not winning mentality. If I'm going to quote Gary Vee, that's loser mentality, right? Because then you're trying to squeeze as much out of the system or the man so that you can, like, survive, right? And instead, you should have this mentality. I talked about it, like, I think I talked about it in number 3, enjoy what you do. Is instead you have the mentality that you are building something that is timeless. And so I'm not going to be worried about how much money I make now, because money comes and goes. But I'm going to be worried about how good I could get and keep going? How many hours in the day can I spend on being the best in my craft and executing on what I'm supposed to do? Right? So like, I don't even have tracked down the amount of time and hours I spend like when I was working for my previous clients, like trying to be a better web designer, trying to be a better marketer. Like I mean, I do have some logging in of the books I've read and how much time I spend reading, but it's not something I lead with and be like, oh, I've read X, blah, blah, blah. Right. It's like, do not like, again, don't take my advice as gospel, but do what you will. In my opinion, right, if you're going to get good at something, and you have the mentality of only getting paid when you're good, then, and if you take my brother's mentality, how can you get good if you're trying to not spend enough time on it? You're trying to spend the least amount of time, right? Instead, have the mentality that's like, I'm going to grind as long as it takes to start being valuable. So that's my advice to you in terms of like finding, you could kind of pick those people out, like when you first meet them, some of their mindsets on it. And yeah, I mean, that's my, like, I can only give you my reference points. Bill Gates shared his. Let's go into the next one. Hayes says, #true. Thanks for joining live, bro.
One habit that I developed when I was at college, that was actually a very, very bad habit, which was I like to show people that I didn't do any work. And that I didn't go to classes and I didn't care. And then at the very last minute, like 2 days before the test, I'd get serious about it. And people thought that was funny. You know, that was my positioning, the guy who did nothing until the last minute. Then when I went into business, that was a really bad habit. And it took me a couple of years to get over that. Nobody praised me because I would do things at the last minute, and I tried to reverse to students I'd actually I didn't think that highly of, who were always organized and had things done on time. I'm still working on it, but procrastination is not a good habit.
#lagfest there. All right, guys, look, like, I want to give you guys some time to think about what he said, but again, I have to realize that like not everyone's watching this live. So if you're watching this video on Team Replay, #replay, like take a minute to like think for yourself what Bill Gates said. I know it's choppy. I have it rendered a version that's not choppy, so I'll release both versions, one that this is the live one and one that's just straight the sources. But for those of you watching, in terms of like don't procrastinate, like one thing I picked up on is I literally just said that like you're gonna get haters, right? Even Bill Gates, if you know, like, let me see if I can bring it up. Boom, boom, boom. I think he said it right here.
Last minute, and I tried to reverse to students I'd actually I didn't think that highly of, who were always organized and
didn't think that highly of. So that's basically like a nice way of saying like he didn't like people who are tryhards, and you will always see this in life, right? Like like I play a video game called Dota, or even basketball, like anything that's competitive sports, they will always try to, people who are not on the winning team will always try to rationalize down on why their mindset or their framework is like makes them okay. So I remember like there was a video game I played which is based on Dota called Han, Heroes of Newerth. And I remember like one time I was playing with my friends at Tech, and I mean, maybe you guys are gamers or not, I don't know, but basically like we were losing, or maybe I mean, it happens in both situations, but basically like my friend was like, you know what, like like anytime we were losing, he's like, you guys are freaking tryhards doing these cheesy strats. And then you'll also see a thing where people will be like, well, you're a freaking nerd video gamer, at least I have a good job, or at least I have XYZ, right? Like people will always try, like as soon as you can get rid of your ego, I think you'll start taking it to the next level. Because instead of being like, okay, like that guy, that team, or you know, that guy is doing better than me at that certain thing, and if I wanted to get better, I could have trained at it. Again, I told you, it's too painful. So I see this all the time, and like in video games and business and whatnot, it's like, oh, at least I have a good job, or like, I mean, I don't know if you guys play video games, but you'll see it all the time. And even in my friends playing basketball, like I sometimes I rip on them on this, but sometimes I try to like, you know, like, okay, it's just pickup. But it's like that same concept. It's like, it's just pickup. So I don't have to try, or I don't like, it just, I see it a lot, and in terms of like what you guys are trying to do with your life and with your business, I highly recommend that. Look, you either resonate with it, or you do not resonate with it. And if you don't resonate with it, there's like just stop hanging out with them, or stop doing it, or just tell them straight up. Like one time I actually like yelled at one of my buddies. I mean, we're buddies, right? Colin. And I was just like, dude, like if you don't want to fucking win, don't play with me. And I just said it straight up to his face. I was like, if you don't want to win, don't play on my team. Go on the other team. Like I'm trying to win, even if it's pickup. Like go watch the last video that Kobe Bryant talked about. Like whatever you're doing at that time is what you're doing. So you might as well try to be the best at it while you're doing it. And then when you're doing the next thing, you're doing the next thing. Right. So I think that also helps get in flow state. And then I guess another thing I'll talk about in terms of like my takes on what Bill Gates said is yeah, I mean, I could kind of fuck with that, right? I remember like in college, I'd be like it's natural for the human mind to not want to do things until there's a deadline set. And so I guess just by knowing it, I've talked about this before, like by realizing that other people have the same problem, that can make it easier for you to either address it or to feel better. Like at the end of the day, we're all human, right? But I guess one way that you could get over procrastination is just recognize it, right? Recognize that the brain and the mind don't want to do things unless there's a time limit set. So literally I was ignoring texts. I was ignoring like some of my clients were messaging me. Sorry, Drew. Because I was basically like, look, I'm flying out at 6 o'clock and I got shit to do. I got to do this stuff. So that's a timeline. That's a hard timeline that I set on myself. And they call this concept time blocking. So I guess just have it aware in your mind that your brain will want to put things off till the end and be like, fuck you, brain. Like I am in control, or my will is in control. I think a good meditation I listened to on, I'll leave a link below. If not, intern team, remind me to do this. I did a meditation, and this basically a good phrase or mantra they said was that your will is like when you do meditations, you chant and try to like manifest these things. And basically the meditation said, your will is more powerful than your inclinations. So basically it's like, dude, what I want to do, or my drive, is going to be more than like, I don't know, like the need to get distracted or the need to XYZ. Right. So I hope that helps you guys in terms of hopefully like take what Bill Gates said, watch the whole video, and then that's just my takes. Again, CPU cores, more processors, right? There's other people who have do these videos on Bill Gates, like go watch all of them in my opinion, or on other people. And so here's the last one. Let me switch to cam. And, you know, I actually might just play the rendered version because it was lagging some. And since it's the last one, like, it doesn't matter.
I'm in meetings a lot.
Boom. Let me go here. Oh, went too far. It's have a sense of humor, guys. So if I have my output set up, this should play right.
People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a warm-hearted person who loved me till the end. Now, people, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a one-boy, cuddly toy, my up, my down, my pride and joy. People, let me tell you about him. It's so much fun.
Yoga, hashtag yoga.
We're walking man to man, or whether we're walking sun to sun, 'cause he's my best friend. Yeah, he's my best friend. La la, ba da 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 ya, ba da da ya, ba da da ya.
So that was on a Reddit AMA.
After I dump this bucket of ice on my head, I get to nominate
Facebook one.
3 new people to challenge. So I'm going to challenge Bill Gates, my partner at Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg, and Netflix's founder and CEO, Reed Hastings.
I'm glad to give to ALS. It's a great cause, but I want to accept this challenge. I want to do it better than it's been done. Been working on this, you know, got this design. There we go. Yeah. It's going to be great. I'm here.
What's up, Wilson?
To join the people bringing attention to Lou Gehrig's disease by taking the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. I'm going to challenge 3 more people. Elon Musk, Ryan Seacrest, and Chris Anderson of TED. Consider yourself challenged. You have 24 hours. Good luck.
All right, so that pretty much wraps it up. So, look, the last one, have a sense of humor. What I think about when I see that is a lot of times in life, like a lot of times in life, you're gonna think of like, there's this phrase like, stay in your lane, right? And so there's things where it's like, they tell you what you can do and what you cannot do. And I resonate a lot with, I have mad respect for my co-founder who basically told me, like, when he was first starting out, there, like, some of the professors at tech were like, dude, you cannot write a book. You cannot write like, publish yourself. It's just, you have to get the PhD. You have to blah, blah, blah. Right? And basically he was like, no, fuck you. I'm going to do it. And so now he's self-published on Amazon. And then, like, another thing of motivation that I just found yesterday was Jim Carrey. Right? And so, like, this is my take on it. Like, you have to realize that I've been going through this for a while. In terms of like self-improvement or meditation, but basically like Jim Carrey is the one who led me to, let me switch the camera to like this, like on Emerson, on it should be this one, on like compensation, and basically Jim, let me see if I can find it. Jim Carrey best ever speech. So basically this YouTube channel had a speech by Jim Carrey, and I think it's like over here. I'll leave you a link below, or if you're really inclined to do so, you could just go YouTube and then put AW. I'm just doing the chat if you guys want to watch it. Right, and for those of you on Facebook, here's the chat too. Basically, Jim Carrey says like, dude, he was the funny guy. He was the funny guy. And then they're like, oh, you can't do Truman Show. You can't do Truman Show because you're the funny guy. Right, and so, I mean, you guys know, or I'm gonna assume you know Jim Carrey's like career, right? He did the Truman Show, then he did like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And to tie this back, like what does this have to do with have a sense of humor? It's basically, it's like there's gonna be times in your life where people say you can and cannot do things. And in terms of what Bill Gates did, there is a side to Bill Gates that is humorous. And whether or not, like, I don't know him, I've never talked to him. But basically, what I want you taking out of this is like, dude, do not be afraid to show your true self. And that comes with like practice, repetition, and like mindset training. And do not, like I talked about this in the first one, which was work hard. Do not let people, or do not have the mindset that's like, oh, well, Bill Gates could be funny because he has $1 billion. Of course you could be funny when you have $1 billion. Like I did a thing on B Dot, right? So B Dot is the NBA impersonator. You can look up his thing. I want to show this guy, right? This guy does things. I think it's at Supreme Dreams. I've seen his stuff before. He has 2.1 million subscribers, right? So what I target is my basketball following, and I want to just showcase to you guys. I talked about this on my stream yesterday. If you're not on my Facebook groups, it's links.blendlogic.com/IamAballer. So let me hit my Facebook group up with that. Dude, this guy is actually funny, right? And that's an angle that you could take when doing this. Look at this, 1.97 million views. LeBron in the locker room after game 2. Let's play it.
LeBron, where you going?
To Miami! Cause y'all niggas trash! We lost by 33 points!
I apologize for any
This is my 6th time in the finals! I'm not losing again!
You can't get mad at us if you can't capitalize.
I can't capitalize! JR, how many points you had?
5.
Fuck. You trash! You not hooping! 5 points is not hoop! Kevin, how many you had?
Guys, this is me when I'm on the losing team on a basketball team. I'm like, what you guys do?
I had 5, but my head.
You did?
That left elbow.
You played 3 quarters! You bid for no reason!
Hey, LeBron,
All right, guys, like, you can watch the whole thing. I posted it on the chat. But basically, like, the idea is, like, did this guy have money or make it because he was he funny when he had the money, or was he funny and then posted it for the world to see? And that's like the concepts like I'm always struggling with, and trying to help more people get to that realization or that idea, is that, oh, why is my Twitch chat not showing? GG. It's basically, guys, oh, it's at the top. I changed it so that LOL's at the top. Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny. But basically, it's like, whether it's your sense of humor, or maybe you guys think you need to be serious all the time, maybe you guys think you need to do X, Y, Z, it's like, give yourself permission to try new things. And the reason that I pitch digital marketing is like, look, I have clients, right? And I'm trying to help them be their true selves as well. So literally, I could, like, I gave myself permission because I'm doing it for them, and I'm doing it for the next generation of people, to be like, hey, this dude from tech, right? Society told me, my parents told me, like, the first thing my parents said was, don't get a girlfriend till you're married, like, be a doctor first, or shit like that, right? And so it's this concept of like what you should be, and then you push back into society and say, what, like, no, this is what I want to be, right? And so I think a good way to take it is like, listen to what Arnold Schwarzenegger said on like success, is do not break the laws, but you could break the rules, right? So there's people telling you like don't do live streaming, don't show fun, like don't yell into the camera, don't do XYZ. I mean, you got to understand where they're coming from. A lot of it is coming from like in their reality, in their frameworks, right? I guess Tony Robbins talks about this, and Tony Robbins trained Gary Vaynerchuk, so now Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this as well. It's like the frameworks in your mind will not allow you to do something that people told you couldn't do. And you will say that other people cannot do that as well, because if someone else does it, then that is too painful for you, right? If I make it, it's too painful for people watching to be like, I could have done it too, right? And I talked about my good friend Burke. Like, I gotta call him out because I want him to make piano covers. I started doing piano covers. Basically, we had dinner on Tuesday, and he's like, I could make it. I could make it like let me share my. There's this guy called The Theorist. I can make it like The Theorist, who has like 80,000 subscribers, 277 videos. If I just trained all day, and played piano for 10 hours, let me swap. Right? And like, this was like serious stuff that he was talking about. He was like, I could do that if I just did, like, if I did it and trained for 10 hours. Right? And so you got to be able to recognize where people are coming from and be like there's got to be people who are taking action, like BTA, believers taking action. Right? And basically it's like, look, you could either say you can do it, and then you live with that in your life of saying, I could have done it, but I didn't. But then you tell yourself that you could have, or you actually just go do it and have like the reference point and the experience. But whatever it is, it's on you, right? Stop saying that you didn't do things because XYZ, right? Like, and that's something that I had to battle with and struggle with. And you guys watching, and whoever watches this on replay, is seeing the execution of someone trying to understand what this is, this game of life that we're all playing, right? Like, yes, I believe Bert could do it. He's way better at piano than me. And if he did spend 10 hours a day, he could probably be just like that theorist guy I just showed. But it all comes down to the idea that like do not say that you could have done it and then you feel good about yourself so that you don't do it. Like, that is one of the things that stopped me from doing what I'm doing now. It's like, I would see people on YouTube, I would see people on Instagram, and be like, yeah, I fuck with that. That makes me feel good. And then boom, I'm like playing Dota for 8 hours or whatever the fuck I was doing, right? Instead, it's like, once you start instead of becoming a consumer and becoming a producer, you start putting respect on the name of the people who are producers. Because like that theorist guy, like, I tried making that Kygo cover and I messed up, right? So he does it. I'm not saying he does it perfectly. If you guys know anything about music, you'll see where he makes a little mistakes, but he does it better than me. And so I gotta give him mad props. He did that 3 years ago, and I just posted one on my personal channel about it. Okay, so that is kind of my takes on Steve Jobs' key to success. I guess if anyone wants to provide some insight, the chat is up for you guys to watch. But I got more stuff to do, so I could try to keep it under an hour long based on my schedule. I thought there was a lot of good stuff. I want to check my notes to just make sure that there was nothing else that I wanted to talk about. Number 10. I guess another thing is like, look, if you guys start using things as resources, here's the Bill Gates AMA, right? So just start seeing it as a way to get insight without having to do the work. And once you have information, then it should help you make better choices in life, right? So this is a joke. How do you think your life would be if your name was Gil Bates, right? Like, okay, that's kind of funny, but like, well, actually, one of my girlfriend's friends, I don't know if I'm this extreme, but basically she was like, I won't read a book unless it helps the bottom line. So however far you guys want to take it, it's your prerogative. If you were born into a low-income family, do you think you would have managed to become as rich as you are now? I benefited from having a great education, public school through 6th grade. There's a good chance I would never have gotten turned on software and math, therefore not as successful. Okay, so Bill Gates thinks that math and software, technology, and I'll paraphrase from math is like STEM, right? So being able to think critically, and he just groups it up into math. Like, again, this is my assumptions of what he's saying, made him successful, right? And in terms of software, right, the way I interpret software now is like what I'm doing now, this live stream or making videos is technically software. It's programming, right? It's programming your mind. And so for anyone watching this, I highly encourage you guys, like one of my clients, Anthony, his mentor is Frank Lawlis, who is the founder of PNP, which is psychoneuroplasticity. So if you guys see me and you're like, damn, that guy has a good mindset, too bad I can't have it. Like, I did not have this mindset growing up, right? I literally told you, my parents said that do not do anything but be a doctor. And I am not a doctor. So I've changed my mindset on what is acceptable in life. But learning that you could change your mindset, or I guess even some good advice I would say is, I said it yesterday, you guys are humans, and humans are the most advanced species, the best species at adapting. And just by being a human, maybe at best you are average at being the best at adapting. So use that as power to make you guys start realizing that you can change your mind, you can change your mindset. And I think that in life, like sometimes the right people come in place with you and help you. Maybe I am that guy, maybe I'm not. But I think, like, look, I don't know why Anthony did business with me. I don't know what he saw in me, but he gave me a shot. And then I got to know him, and I was like, damn, he works for Dr. Phil, and his mentor is Frank Lawlis, and I read that book on him. So I don't know if you want to say it's like the universe like, I think a good mindset to have is like the universe is collaborating with you to make you have what you want, and you got to just collaborate with it. I think if you guys really wanted stuff, you could just start reaching out and seeing what the universe is giving you signs of what you should be, and just overcome fear and do it. I find now that when I get into these flow states, it's like, dude, it's already like 12, right? And I like, see how I'm using Reddit instead of a consumer and instead now being a producer. Like, this is all stuff you could do. I just watched a video on that basketball dude where I don't know where the window went, right? And it's like, am I working? I was laughing with you guys. I was laughing with you guys in that basketball thing. What technology are you looking forward to next 10 years? When computers can read, understand the text like humans do. That's cool. Clippy 2.0 confirmed. Bill Gates, how its Age of Empires 4 coming on. Hello, Bill Gates saves. When did you consider yourself successful? Okay, so I'm going to end it on this question. If you guys want the link to this, I don't know. Some people actually don't know about Reddit. It still blows my mind sometimes. Let me put it here. And let me put it on my Facebook. So the last thing I want to drop, because I guess this ties in with keys to success. Bill Gates, when did you consider yourself successful? Feel free to read along. I'm going to read out loud and zoom in so you guys can read. There are many domains to be successful in. I was a success in getting good grades and test scores in high school. I was a success at writing good code by my early 20s. The dream of the PC being an enabling tool came true in the 1990s. Now I'm working on being a good father and the ambitious goals of the foundations, including getting rid of polio and malaria. I think it's always good to have goals where your success is in doubt, and I have that in many areas, including the work I do on climate change. So I did not know that Bill Gates was working on climate change. You have more respect now that I know that. For those of you who don't know my story, you can watch my stream on how I got a Tesla, and basically I did not get a Tesla. I did not have the capital to do so. I thought that one way to get a Tesla was to get 6-figure jobs and then apply to get a Tesla and then get it. Now I'm on a mission to share with you guys what it takes to be someone who owns a Tesla and the work it takes in place. That is a series that I'm reaching out to a lot of people on YouTube and to any business owners who may be watching this. Let me just tag Elon Musk in my video. Oh, Elon Musk news? No. Elon Musk? Does he have a thing? I don't even know. At Tesla Motors? Tesla Motors? Wow. Tesla and they deleted their Facebook. But basically, guys, like the idea behind what Bill Gates said, let me get this swapped in. Hopefully you guys can still read that. I mean, yeah, there's different things that I'm good at and stuff I'm not good at, right? I'm not the best programmer, even though I used to work as a job, like a year being a programmer, right? I think that these things will help you in life. Don't take things as what you did before and be like it was a waste of time to be good at it, right? I don't think that the hours I spent at the tech labs, right, I used to do cell culture, and part of that involved like waking up at 2 a.m. to check on the cells. I would go into the lab and be like, okay, are the cells still alive? Right? I don't look back at my time and be like, that was a complete fucking waste because I don't do anything related to biology anymore. You have to realize like there's certain foundations of success, keys to success that will help you get to certain points in life. And so again, going back to Kobe, whatever you guys are doing in life, like just be in it, right? Be in it and be like, how could I add value to this thing that I'm doing? And so right now in this YouTube, in this digital marketing thing I'm doing right now, it's like, how can I add value to people so that they can do this too, if they wanted to, or they could, you know, whatever it is that you guys want to do. So Bill Gates talked about getting good grades and test scores. I mean, like that, like I didn't know why to get good test scores. That my parents told me to do it. And I guess you could, like, I guess now being 28, having different perspective, I look back and like, dude, I used to be like, dude, the people who like aren't trying hard, like this is a thing in high school called like being straight edge. I think you'd go like this. And I'd be like, damn, if you guys do drugs in high school, you guys drink in high school, you're a bad person. Because I got good grades. I'm like Kanye West, right? My degrees will keep me satisfied. And that was my old mindset, right? I'm being 100% honest with you. I used to think like that and be like, dude, people who aren't getting good grades, like, you guys are bad, right? And then now, let's go back to Steve Jobs' quote. He talks about the dream of being PC, being an enabling tool, right? So, like, now, my execution of it is like, the digital marketing is an enabling tool for you guys to get what you guys want, right? In the 1900s, it's 2018. I think that with some of the stuff I'm doing with these live streams and these videos, even from a meta level, right? Let me bring back this, right? I think it's cool to see what happened, right? So let me just, what is this video? Right, like, look at what this is. This is a video about Bill Gates answering people's questions, right? Let me mute the audio of the thing because it does a scrub thing. This video is how long? 55 minutes. These people are asking questions. They're saying, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And it's recorded on a video, and then now you're able to watch this on YouTube. It's a proven business model that people will always be asking questions from people who they perceive have some kind of authority over them, and it's naturally inclined that people want to get better, right? So whether or not, whatever you do with that, I encourage you to use it for good and to help people get what they want, right? If it aligns with your core values, right? And then like this video and people asking questions, right? Like, I don't know who this girl is, but she's on video and she's asking Warren Buffett and Bill Gates like questions on life, right? So that is kind of the way I took it, is like, okay, so instead of VHS tapes, it is now YouTube and is now live streaming and is now going on Reddit and hopefully empowering you guys, right? Enabling tool. Like, this is what I hope is an enabling tool for you guys to be like, okay, like, let's fucking get it. Let's fucking get it, dude. Like, there's what? It's the 13th. How many days are left? Like, I don't know, 18 if I did the math right. 18 days left before 2000, 19, right? Like, why not go get the shit you want to do, right? And now I'm working on being a good father and ambitious goals, right? So it's like there's, as Bill Gates said in that one about working, what was it? Enjoy what you do. It's like, this is just going to be the next thing that you guys want to get better at, the next thing that you guys want to execute on. One, like, I won't be doing digital marketing forever, right? Maybe another time I'll be doing something else, but when I'm in it, it's like, set the bar high for yourself, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things. If I'm going to end this, I've been going on for an hour 20, is like, I talked about it on my stream yesterday. When it's all relative, right? So when I was making 43K as a programmer, I was like, dude, I'm not making shit, right? And to people who, like, from my hometown, Augusta, Georgia, some of them were working, how do I phrase this? Like, I can't even think of it, like minimum wage jobs, right? Not that anything's wrong with that, but it's like, what I was trying to explain is that to them, right, me getting vacation time was a foreign concept, right? And so they would be like, dude, you're making 43 and you get vacation times? Like, shut the fuck up, right? Like, stop complaining about wanting to get more. And then another side was like, damn, but I graduated from tech. And I'll clarify this so that you guys can hopefully get some insight into how I think. But it was like, dude, like, one of my friends, I think he's on the stream, I don't know if he's still on it, was a consultant, right? And so I was like, damn, Georgia Tech, this is the baseline that Georgia Tech people graduate with. This is what they usually make. And I'm a programmer, and I'm not making what programmers usually make, right? So there was this social pressure for me to rise up, right? To want to get better. And if I had listened to other people who were like, hey, just be happy and blah, blah, blah. Not that, I'm not saying that, like, there's a lot of people who, like, it's an iffy subject. Just have gratitude, but always be like, I could have more, right? And not from like, I'm greedy and I need more, but like, look, if I think I could offer more to the world, then I'm gonna try. And basically, yeah, I switched it up. Kanye West switched the style up. If they hate, let them hate. Watch the money pile up, right? And so I went into consulting because my friend was like, one of my friends, Kyle, was like, hey, the way to get money is 10%. 10% increase. He's still on this. Yeah, grateful and be working towards next steps. That's how it is, man. And it was like, it's either 10% a year or it's 10K a year is what I remember from the conversation. I don't know if that's exactly what he said. And I was like, okay, let me just fucking be a consultant and fucking switch jobs, right? And so that's how I took it from 43 to 60 to 70 and up. And then now I'm way back down because I quit my job and I'm building this up. But I think one of the good things about it is like, I have a reference point, right? And Bill Gates talks about like, don't think that you wasted time. I have a work ethic. I know, he even talked about it in one of the things is like, be appreciative of the time when you are in corporate life, because then you can at least try to understand from a business perspective, like how the thing runs, right? So when I look back at my time, I'm like, okay, how did that programming analyst company job do their things? Like, what did I not like about my manager? What did I not like about how things were done? And in my point, like what I'm building now, and what I stress to, people working with me is like, dude, if you think that I'm doing something the wrong way, then tell me. Right? There was too many times when I was like, hey, we should help them with this XYZ, and it was just bureaucracy. It was like, let's not help them because we didn't sell them on the SOW. Let's not help them. Like, let's get the SOW signed first, or like, hey, that's just not like, this is a big thing I think is ruining people's drive in corporate life, is they're just like, oh, that's not the way we do things. It's just not done that way. I'm just like, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, and then they wouldn't have a conversation on why the systems, why things didn't happen that way. Okay, so, I'm not saying that you guys have to do digital marketing. I'm not saying I'm just saying whatever it is you guys do, if you don't like it, you can switch it up. All right, and so my battery died. I'll end the stream on that. I didn't have my camera plugged in. Thanks, guys, for joining. Nafarrete from Blend Logic. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.